Up+Adam.
Tractor systems are offline.
We are Beyond FM.
Beyond FM.
The future of broadcasting is here.
Up+Adam with Adam Montiel. It's community content from Concentrate. It's Up+Adam with Adam Montiel.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Yes, some say life is just where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Happy Monday. Thank you so much for being Up+Adam. My name is Adam Montiel. We're going to recap the Creston Bloody Mary battle coming up in just a second. But today's show, I'm excited. For producing chart-topping hits for global icons like Bad Bunny, J Balvin, to managing the reinvention of Will Smith's musical career. Lex Borrero is the kind of creative force who doesn't just ride the wave, he's building the ocean around it. And as the co-founder of Neon 16, he's been behind some of the most powerful movements in modern Latin music for sure, film, culture. But for all the outer success, Les is pulling back the curtain and inviting the world into his most personal project yet. It's called You Versus You, a podcast that flips the script on celebrity interviews by focusing not on who the people are in public, but who they are in private, in the mirror, in the moments that we never see. So later in the show, Lex is going to join us for a real raw and powerful conversation, one that touches on a little ego, a little imposter syndrome, and the battle between, well, really the battle that's bigger than any Billboard chart, which is what he's often chasing. The one that we wage against ourselves. We talk about redefining hustle, the illusion of control, and the truth about success, and why every breath we take is an absolute gift. Plus what it's really like co-managing Will Smith during one of the most scrutinized chapters of his career and this comeback. Lex doesn't hold back, and neither do we. It's going to be a great conversation. It's coming up right here on Up+Adam. Now, first, I want to tell you about the Creston Bloody Mary battle. Wow, what a weekend. The event truly delivered. It was just awesome. From the moment I walked in and sat down, the creativity was off the charts. I'm talking shrimp skewers, bacon ladders, full mini smash burger sliders. One even had a deviled egg riding a peppercini like a cowboy. I mean, it was freaking insane. The energy was wild. The competition was tight. And let's be honest, by Bloody Mary number 7, I was emotionally invested. I was in, They were all so good. So huge shout out to all the bartenders, the participants who went way beyond the rim. Congrats to our winner. I love their name, Tin and Tonic. They had one of those little teeny tin trailers. They made everything out of it. And then, they had a little extra. They even gave me a gallon of their Bloody Mary mix. She said she got the Bloody Mary mix off YouTube. Some 70-something-year-old guy swore by it. He was a bartender for a long time. He swore by this Bloody Mary recipe. She added a little pickle juice, a little this, all that. And it killed. And because Chef Megan Loring was, one of the people who really put this event on and kind of headed it up, she's a chef. So when she's given the judges the papers that they're going to be judging these things on, it was perfect because mouthfeel, it wasn't just the garnish. And yeah, we did do a presentation for garnish, but it was the mouthfeel, the taste and the profile. So it was really easy to judge each Bloody Mary, and it really made theirs stand out because although flavor and spice is absolutely important for a Bloody Mary, mouthfeel is so important, and some a little thin, some a little bit too much. It almost feels like it's too much of a meal. That's the beauty of that sweet spot of the Bloody Mary. So I've got a few garnishes I'm still emotionally recovering from. And what they did, Tin and Tonic, because the garnishes were just insane. It was almost like the beginning of the Flintstones where they put the rib on the car and the car is going to tip over. It's absolutely insane. One person had a huge ass chalice looking thing. I mean, my hands are about over 12 inches apart, and it was literally, and it had a dispenser, like a little spigot, it was wild. Totally cool. Really fun. I can't wait to do it again. The Creston Bloody Mary battle. But the winners, Tin and Tonic, they almost took the idea of Bloody Mary garnishes going over the top they took that over the top. So when they came out, it was like a bouquet. Like it just things coming out in all directions. And there was like, I swear to God, I saw like a pizza pocket. Like, I mean, there was all kinds of like things that were just almost hyperbolic. It was straight hyperbole. It was really good. So props to a lot of folks who came in there. The ones who won the award for Garnish, what was their names? It was the Sparkle Realty Group. What they did is they had little bottles of Tabasco that they put on top so you could kind of make it as spicy as you want. And then the straw was a red vine, which was really smart because it actually added a little sweetness to the savoriness of the Bloody Mary. Just people were thinking outside the box. It was great. It was a lot of fun. So thanks to everyone involved for supporting Up+Adam, for having me out there to judge and MC Creston Rodeo Grounds, legendary spot, Megan Loring, and then benefiting the women's clubs, men's clubs of Creston. So just all in all, a fantastic event. So much thanks for getting us involved here on Up+Adam. All right, now before we get into our chat with Lex Borrero, I'm really looking forward to it. I want to tell you about my friends at Life Elements. Hidden in the back corner of a little plaza in Atascadero is a woman practicing wellness alchemy. Life Elements is where you can walk in, see things being made in real time right in front of you, and often leave with a little something that she is just whipping up. Everything there, small batch, cruelty-free, made with real ingredients and real healing in mind. Think arnica, calendula, magnesium, broad spectrum CBD. And it's no wonder their Relief Stick is a bestseller across the country. Another thing, their deodorant, it's gangbusters right now. So check it out. I obviously want you to go into their store because Martha and Kurt are the absolute best. Also, that's where you get to smell what's happening. You get to meet them. You get a chance to get your hands on some stuff, get hands-on with it. So I want you to check out 7425 El Camino Real, Suite O, right side, back right corner of the plaza. You can't miss it. LifeElements.com online. You can use the promo code Adam. Save 15%. Thanks to our good friends at Life Elements. If you're in Arroyo Grande, you can find their stuff at the Hive, also the General Store, downtown Paso. All right, also go to lifeelements.com. And when you do, however you engage with them, let them know that you heard them on Up+Adam.
It's Up+Adam with Adam Montiel.
All right, my guest today, a creative juggernaut, a cultural architect, and the mind behind one of the most introspective shows in entertainment right now, Lex Borrero. He's the co-founder and CEO of Neon 16, one of the most influential entertainment companies shaping global Latin culture across music, film, beyond. He's worked with megastars like Bad Bunny, J Balvin, and Justin Bieber. And now he's turning the lens inward with You Versus You, a podcast that explores the real inner battles behind the biggest success stories. From high-stakes boardrooms to vulnerable therapy-style conversations, Lex is doing something most people in his position just won't. He's going deep. Lex Borrero, thanks, man, for being Up+Adam.
Adam, pleasure to connect, and thank you for having me on.
Yeah, your podcast is called UVU. But before it was a title, I imagine this had to be like a truth that you connected with, a real personal one. What was your first real You versus You moment when you realized that your biggest battle was with maybe a version of yourself that no one could even see?
I think the moment that I got to a place where I had reached a lot of the dreams that I had put on my list and had achieved what success looks like to most of us, or what we've been told success is like. And I said, wait, why am I still feeling this way? Why am I still stressed out and anxious and processing things through my fear and emotion and turmoil consistently? And that's when I started to go down this path of discovering, what can actually make us happy? What can actually create moments of joy, and what can give us peace? And as I started to go through that journey, I started understanding that, hey, just for you and I, Adam, to be on this conversation today, 1,000,001 things had to happen. So therefore, the universe is actually in complete divine order. The only thing that is not is our mind. And that's when I realized, oh my God, the battle is with myself. The battle is with my inner thoughts. The battle is with how I perceive information. The battle is with my traumas, with my belief system, because My reality is all those things. And so this idea that something is right or wrong is just not true. It's really just perception. And so how was I perceiving my life experience and why was I perceiving it in that way in order to create the stress and the turmoil and all the things that I was going through? And in that work, I entered the ring with myself, and
You
I've
know,
been there ever since.
it's so awesome. And forgive the assumption, and if I'm incorrect, forgive me, but it's so great to talk to someone who's also into therapy. You know what I mean? Like, just, I mean, some of the words that you just like, yeah, no, there's like, there is real work here, and I can tell. You've helped artists chase number ones, go global, break records. But I'm curious what maybe you had to kind of unlearn to grow, like in building Neon 16 and your own brand. What piece of advice or mindset did you have to let go of, even if it used to serve you?
The idea that the external success was going to make me happy. This story that I had to hustle, and I came from an era in the music industry where hustle, it was everything. Like, in the interns getting paid. What, brother? You're going and walking down 10 blocks and getting me a cheesecake, if you remember that famous story. But it's like that is this idea of like, you know, hustle over everything. You got to be stressed all the time. And what I realized as I started to do my internal work, that that was just a story. That this idea that I've earned something is just such a lie, because everything is a gift. And the way that I explain that, and I'm sorry if you hear some horns, but I'm here in Marbella and somebody's car went off.
Yeah.
But the idea that we've earned something is this idea that we're in control. And the truth is that there's people less, less talented, let's say, for the use of the word talent, but less talented than you and I that have had more success. And there's people more talented than you and I that have had less success. And what that tells you is, again, we're not in control of everything. We don't even control our next breath. And that's the truth. So therefore, everything that you receive is a gift. The gift we then get is to be good shepherds of that. And that's where discipline and hard work and focus and all the things that we've been teaching people for many years about how to achieve success and reach their dreams. Those are being good shepherds of the gift that the universe, God, whatever you believe in, gave you. But the truth is that it's a gift. And therefore, this idea that if I don't hustle all the time, if I don't stress all the time, I'm not going to achieve there, it's a lie. Because you can be still at home and randomly get a phone call that changes your life.
Yeah.
You can be driving down the highway and your tire popped, and you just say, okay, I'm going to sit here and just wait for the truck to come. And all of a sudden, the person that comes to help you is your future wife, and everything changes. Like, that's how life works. And so that was one of the biggest things I had to change, because I've been programmed for 23 years of my career. No, none of that. This is about hustle and work hard and late night hours and make yourself sick. It doesn't matter, because that's what it takes. And you're gonna get all these things. You want money? Money's what makes it. And 1 million won't be enough. 10 million won't be enough. You need to be a billionaire. And that idea, it took me some time to face. And I think you'll see it in our guests and our conversations we have on You Versus You, is none of that is making any of the people I have interviewed so far, have had conversations with, happy.
Both of our businesses have changed so much. I've been in radio for 25 years. You, the music business, we're watching these industries that we love change right from under us. How do you build something timeless in an industry obsessed with the moment?
I don't worry about the future, because it's just it's a concept that only becomes what you want it to become now. So meaning, like, I don't I've learned in this new work to just release the outcome, right? I create from a place of integrity to myself. Does this specific moment, in this case, let's say this podcast, does this podcast and the conversation I'm having with you right now, can it be impactful? Can we live it? Can we both learn from each other? Can we be in a place of joy? Can we end the conversation and say, wow, that was great? Yes, then we did our job for today. We did what we needed to do in that moment, because that's all we actually have. And then the outcome, whether this conversation becomes massive and it becomes viral and something we said here goes, or it doesn't, or becomes timeless, that's the part that keeps creatives up at night because you are trying to create something that it's out of your control. There's people that have spent 3 months working on a song and the song flops. There's people that spend 10 minutes writing a song and it becomes the biggest hit of their life. There's many artists who famously will tell you they didn't want to record the hit that became their major hit. And so, what I think about, even when thinking about the future and AI and the things that are changing, is how do I understand how to accept the changes that are coming, master those changes in order to create with freedom for my now, and then what happens after I just release it? I always say this like, it's not our job to figure it out. It's our job to be still enough to listen and then be courageous enough to act.
I love that. You mentioned AI, and I'm so curious because I'll talk to some folks and, well, real creative people, they don't need AI. It's like, well, not some of the most creative people I know. And look, creators are going to create, AI or not. But some of the most creative people I know are collaborating with AI and using it. And it's not replacing anything in them. What is your relationship and how did you wrap your head around something that almost feels like if you're not going to be part of it, you're going to get swallowed up by it. So why not use it to help you carry the water, do some work for you?
I think it's a tool, and it's a tool that it's the understanding of the development of our society. We are speaking right now from two different places in the world on a camera and on a mic, and it seems like you're right next to me. And
Yeah.
so it would be foolish not to use that, right? Because I think if life didn't intend you to use it, it wouldn't have let you be born in this era. It would put you in a different era where that didn't exist and you didn't have to use it. But the fighting of it, now I understand the protection of intellectual rights and things
Sure.
that do make sense. And I think we should, like any great technology or any great invention, you have to put controls on it, right? You don't get in a plane and say, I wonder if the pilot knows how to fly this plane. You wouldn't get on.
No.
You get on because you know that there is requirements and procedures that allow that pilot to be an expert at flying a plane. If not, you wouldn't get on the plane no matter how good of the technology is. So I think it's the exact same thing. We're in a plane. We have the power to use it to reach the world to create. Now we have to create procedures that protects that and creates it so that it is something that doesn't become, the destruction of humanity and the destruction of our minds. But it's a tool, and I think not using it is just foolish.
As a Colombian-born executive running one of the hottest music companies in the world, Lex, your rise is pretty powerful. What do you think people still get wrong about Latin identity in global entertainment? And really, what's the quiet mission of yours to change that?
I think there's a perception that we're a niche group. And the truth is that we're not. We're a global audience. There is, Latin culture in its core is has so many parts from all over the world. It has African culture in it. It has, European culture in it. It has Asian culture in it. It has, a bit of everything. And it's this concept that we're just a niche audience is not true. We, especially nowadays, I can see maybe in the past how, a certain region of the world could be very close up to the rest, and you have to speak to it in a very certain way. But nowadays, you go to Colombia and people are listening to music from all over the world. They're listening to K-pop. They're listening. The idea of the audience not being educated enough to be a global audience is not true. We, you speak to any kid in Colombia, and he's dressing with Nikes and the same thing as any American kid is. And so we are we are a cultural powerhouse, and we're not just a niche group. We know how to speak to a global audience, and it's why Latin artists have become what they've become, because rhythmic and rhythm is still movement, and we all want to move. And so my mission really, most importantly, has always just been breaking the barriers of the boxes that sometimes I think we've created for ourselves, right? Like there is this perception of how we perceive ourselves regardless of how the world sees us. And therefore, through the past 5, 6 years since we started the company, I've always tried to break that, whether that's by breaking producers, whether that's by doing television shows, whether that's by, changing the way we work with brands. It's really like, hey, these ideas of how Latin culture is or should be, or how we perceive ourselves, again, they're just stories, and we can break those, and we can have, amazing events and amazing concerts, and be as creative in production, and be as creative in film and television, and be working with companies like Red Bull Racing, and be at the heart of Formula One. And so that continues to be, I think, the mission of the company, and it will, pass my time there.
You're co-managing one of the most scrutinized, celebrated, and talked about names in the world, and that is Will Smith. What's been the most human moment you shared with Will, maybe recently, with everything going on, that reminded you this isn't just strategy, this is really soul work?
Every single day. He's been a great mirror to my life. And that's what I will say about him is he's been a great mirror to the work that it takes to maintain peace in the midst of storms.
You've accomplished, Lex, what most people dream of, but success also sometimes has a shadow too. And I feel like successful people, it's not even just ego that can creep in, but that imposter syndrome. When you feel ego creeping in, when you feel that imposter syndrome, which, I mean, it's even hard to believe that that might even happen to you. You're like, but sometimes even the most successful people go, God, do I belong here? How do you catch those moments? And what do you do to reset those moments?
I think we all go through that,
Yeah.
right? And I think it's almost being kind to ourselves, because the truth is we're being fed this information every day. You are being fed this idea that you're not enough, right? That's how you get sold the product. Hey, you are not enough until you have this. So you're like, okay, I gotta go get that Rolex because that's gonna be making me, whatever it is. And so we've been brainwashed for so long about the need that we need to have in order to, like, this idea that we need to accomplish more and have more in order to be at peace, that we all, I think, have some sort of imposter syndrome. Even when everything's going well, you're afraid that it's going to break. And the best example I use on the pod is this idea of, we've been programmed to be a wave. And what that means is, a wave is really powerful. It builds, it has strength, it has determination, it has focus, it has all the things that we have identified as being successful, right? Like all the things you need to have. The problem with the wave is that it grows knowing it's going to break. So it builds with anxiety, right? Because it always questions itself. Am I going to reach the shore? Is someone going to surf with me? Or is that person bigger than me? Is that wave all there? But the truth is that you're the ocean. You can make another wave. And the more that you get yourself to a place where you understand that you are the ocean, you're in a place of wholeness. Oh, a wave to the ocean is nothing. It's just part of his movement. It's not a terminal thing. It's not meant to be a bigger thing. It's just part of it. And that's what I think I use in my life every single day, which is, whenever I get a place or in a moment where I feel that deficit, where I feel like I have to introduce myself in a certain way or something, I, try to catch myself and remember, you're the wave.
Yeah. I love that
Just
analogy. That metaphor is fantastic. You know,
be yourself.
like Spotify can put any artist right next to Taylor Swift on a playlist. I mean, it's really kind of connecting people and letting everyone have a seat at the table. Podcasts really are now letting anyone come and be, next to any broadcast professional that is doing now a podcast. And I'm so curious, you see so many different types of people in so many different types of genres want to jump into this and don't quite understand the EQ, right? That it takes to kind of have a conversation that you're doing with you versus you. What has you versus you given you personally that none of your other ventures could?
It's given me my self freedom. And what I mean by that is, part of the reason that, you build these companies and you create the success and you stand behind successful artists, at least for me, was also to shy away from the fear of, what if I put myself forward and it doesn't work. And you versus you, not only because it's an expression of my current and everyday work, it is an expression of me coming and saying, here is the truest version of who I am. And I'm going to face one of my biggest fears, to your point of imposter syndrome, of saying, I am going to put myself at a place of vulnerability, myself at a place where I can have honest conversations, and I'm going to go for it, not based on the outcome, but just as a testament that I can sit in my own fire. And I tell you, it at first that's what it was, and it continues to be. I think daily sitting there for me while I'm very clear in the message that I'm giving. I'm very clear in the confidence. And I can have these kind of conversations with you all the time. The moment those lights turn on, it's a different role for me that I've played in my career. And so, it's me literally facing myself in the mirror every day, and like learning through it and understanding how, and studying people like yourself who've been doing this for a very long time and saying, okay, what is that confidence like in, Enrique Santos, who I had on the show, who obviously is a big radio personality. Like I sat there and watched him do this and I said, wow, like there's this kind of natural sense of just being when you're in front of that mic that people take for granted. People are like, oh, I can just get on the front of the mic. And you guys have, it's a gift. It's the same gift the artists have to get in a studio and record the deepest part of their soul and their emotions. You guys have that sense of like the mic is on and I'm actually just having a regular conversation like nothing changed. And that has been really an intriguing part of looking at myself and facing my own fears. So you versus you for me has really been sitting in the fire. And the discipline, I think too, right? To like, which is a change of pace when you're having to tell someone to do something, like an artist, hey, we should do this and this and this, and here's how promo works. And then to having to do it for yourself, which is a completely different level of discipline that you have to have,
You're a timepiece collector. I'm curious. I saw the Rob Report article. Awesome. What's the timepiece for today, my man? What are we wearing?
Today I have a Fuel and Murray, which is a local company from Geneva, independent company, and I have their sage green chronograph that I actually just picked up, and I'm really loving it. So, Fuel and Murray from Geneva, a micro brand. Really not an expensive watch at all, but a beautiful watch.
One thing we always say here is I'm not going to wish you luck because it's not fair to people that need it. Man, Lex, it's really cool to meet you. You versus you. Link in the show notes. Love conversations where you're peeling layers back and conversations like you let me do here. I really appreciated this time, and I thank you for being Up and Adam, my man.
Hey, listen, thank you so much for having it. I love and enjoy our conversations, and I'm here all the time. Hopefully we get to meet each other in real life soon, but I'm here, and thank you for sharing this time with me.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
All right, You versus You, the name of the show. It's available on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Wherever you're listening to this, you can listen to that. Thanks, Lex, for being Up and Adam. All right, looking forward to this week. Busy week. Got a big True Crime Tuesday coming up tomorrow. Don't want to miss that. And also just a lot going on this week. Warm. Yeah, we're going to be maybe coming down a little teeny bit, then it's going to get back hot again. I'm wondering if this is going to be like a 2017 where everyone's thinking the weather's all good in September. And, I'm thinking of my friends at Harvest and in the wine business. And then all of a sudden, just September blasts you with this massive heat wave. I don't know, but it has been hot. It is going to cool down a little bit. Then it's going to get warmer again. And we're going to see where all the chips fall, see what ends up happening with the rest of our summer. And, of course, the beginning of fall, which is just around the corner. But here, fall, just because we go from summer to fall doesn't mean that we're going to stop the heat. No, we've seen hot days in October. In fact, the hottest days on our beaches, October. Isn't that something? It's been a while since we had John Lindsay on. I think we should. I want to thank our friends at Moonshiner Collective for original music on the show called Start Again. Also, our friends at Tamber Winery for giving us the Lobro Studios at Tamber. Check out their winery, the Village of Arroyo Grande, Timbre, tamberwinery.com. And thanking them for the Tamber Lobro Studios. All right, I hope you have a great day and a great beginning to your week. Thanks for rating, reviewing, subscribing to the show wherever you listen to it. Sharing with a friend really, really does make a difference. Until tomorrow. Thank you so much for connecting with us here. Hope you have a great rest of your day, great beginning to your week. I'm Adam Montiel. And thank you for being Up and Adam.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again. Let's start again.